So, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video here on the Freak Flyers YouTube channel. And today we're going to be doing the debrief of the 2024 Dubai International Parachute Championships, which now has a new name, but I don't know the name, so we'll just refer to it as the IPC. The competition took place in the beginning of this month in Dubai, and I will preface by saying that this competition was the competition of the year that I had the least expectations for, due to the fact that all the conditions got together to give me the best opportunity to train something new. And what do I mean by this? Well, every time I try something new, I've noticed that I end up having less good performance in the first comp that I try it. So, for instance, when I started doing a new turn, I'll have less performance. When I started doing a new harness or new canopy, my performance reduces a little bit. Because again, you're trying to figure out the power, the new speed, or whatever, the new amount of power you're building. You're trying to figure it out, and of course, all of this will make your performance go a little bit worse. Of course, even if you're having better performance, maybe you're not being as consistent, and that's what's gonna hinder you. So I knew that I wanted to train a new technique on the turn, the 1170, and I knew I wanted to work on distance. So I thought, let's go have a nice comp, just try to run the course as many times as we can safely, and start to figure out if the 1170 works or not. Because I knew the 1170 was the new turn that I needed. I knew for the new canopy sizes that we're flying, we need a bigger turn for the canopy to have more time to build the speed necessary to actually make the canopy recover. Because remember, these very small canopies loaded at 3.6, 3.8, they need a lot of speed for the canopy to recover. If you don't build speed, the canopy will just fall vertically. It will not fly forwards. So for us to build the speed that we need for the canopy to fly forwards, we need to give time for the canopy to build that speed. And that's why I decided to start doing the 1170. And you guys will let me know, what do you think? Is it working or not? We'll have a look. So the idea again was to practice the 1170 as much as possible and then use it in the competition. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do any training jumps. I did 5 training jumps of zone accuracy because I had to realign my canopy. It was a whole headache, my speed canopy that is. And then for speed, for distance, I did 2 jumps, but none of them, I couldn't even run the course. I was always super high. The competition, after those jumps, the competition started with 7 total training jumps and 0 jumps running the course. Absolutely no jumps did I run the course. And we started with speed. The first round of speed, I just went super deep. And I thought, with the amount of downwind that we had, and we had downwind between 6 to 6.5 meters per second, which is just on the limits. The limit is 7. I knew if I just set myself up really deep, I'm still going to fly the course super fast because my canopy flies fast. It's a big turn. It's a small canopy. And so that's what I did. The wind wasn't perfectly downwind. It was down cross. So it pushed me a little bit to the side, which gave me a worst line on the course. However, I was still managed to fly the course safely and did a 1.9 something second run. Very good. Second jump came along. And I went for a little bit tighter. I wanted to be a little bit tighter, but I didn't focus on going tighter. I focused on putting myself a little bit more towards the runway side of the pond because the wind was coming from the runway. It was a downwind coming a little bit from the runway. So I knew I needed the canopy to fly into the course during the turn due to the crosswind. And what ended up happening is I did my setup the way I thought it was necessary to be done, which for a 810 would be perfect, but for a 1170 I still needed to correct even a little bit more because the wind was quite strong. So I did my 1170, whipped it around. I was still deep. I wasn't tight at all. I could have gone much tighter, but again, for me to be tight, I would need to have a little bit more training jumps for me to figure out the small, setup points that I wanted to make sure I'm in the correct place and I'm not going to vert. In this case, I was deep, but still, I flew the course in 1.691 seconds, which is a world record. It's the first time ever we're seeing anyone fly the course under 1.7 seconds. I'm the only person to ever fly the course under 1.7 seconds in competition, that is, of course. And so, yeah, that made me very, very happy. I told you guys on the last debrief that the 1.6 was possible. I didn't think it was going to be possible in Dubai because of the pressure, the air density, that is. It's a sea level. But as you can see, impossible things are nothing but a challenge on my screen, and we were able to get the world record. So currently we are the world champion in speed, and we have the world record in speed. This means I think speed is pretty solidly achieved. I can now say that we're managing speed pretty well. We can move on to something else. After the world record run, which as you guys can see, it could have been a better line. Again, I'm still getting very pushed because of the wind, but this is because the turn is so big, and this is why we try something new in a comp that doesn't matter as much. Of course, the IPC matters. You guys know what I mean. It's a comp that I didn't have as much expectations, because we can only jump until from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. means it's not a lot of jumps, not a lot of training jumps, and the jumps that we do are in the morning. And I don't know about you guys, but I always wake up very slowly. So I knew like the IPC is a comp for you to go have fun, look at Dubai, and enjoy your time there. And that's what I did basically. We ended up having a world record, which is pretty nice, and I have already submitted it. It's being rectified as we speak. Moving on, in the same day, we did one more round of speed. I came through at, again, it was a fast run. I had the world record. I had the medal in sight. I just went deep. Did the same, everything the same. I didn't change anything, and I went a little lower on the course because I wanted to really make sure I got it. And I got a 1:7.8 seconds run. It was a fast run. It was a 1:7. It was close to the world record, the previous world record. So yeah, that run was enough to secure a medal. However, the winds were 7.1 meters per second, which is just over. It's 0.1 meters per second over the limit, which means I had to do a rejump. And unfortunately, the rejump we did 2 days later. And 2 days later, the winds were different. Instead of being downwind 7 meters per second, it was headwind, some headwind. So I thought, okay, some of the other guys had finished their rounds in the previous day, which means they did all 3 rounds with pretty strong downwind, and we were stuck with 2 rounds with strong downwind and 1 round with headwind. So I was like, okay, this is all or nothing, because there's no chance we're going to get a gold medal, because it's just impossible flying into the wind to get close to the times that the other guys are getting, even though I did, but it is pretty hard. So I set myself up tight, as tight as I thought I could, and I was like, okay, it's all or nothing. So I flew the course. I was pretty tight. I think it was a very good line. I was pretty tight. I was a little bit too tight maybe, and I had let the canopy dive a little bit too much. And so with a mutant in the Petro, you need the canopy to start recovering quite early. So you want, like I said in many videos before, you want the recovery arc to be long lengthwise and to be short height-wise. So you want to be deep and low, because when you're deep and low, you can really drive the canopy slowly out of the recovery arc, and it will just penetrate the air so well and fly the course perfectly. You need to make sure that when you're flying completely horizontal without any vertical movement, that is when you're entering the course, that it's a very smooth transition. Because if you're going down and forwards and then you yank the rears, what's going to happen is you're going to be flying up. You're going to boost the mutant. It's a very, very common problem to happen, especially when you're flying into the wind. So that's what happened. I was tight, and I didn't quite have 100% horizontal movement. I still had a little bit of sink when I did the carve to stay in the course, and I ended up boosting over G4. I thought I had it, but it was tight. You can see on the video it was very close, but I didn't get it. I had a 2.1 second run, which is the fastest that anybody got out of the people that went into the wind, and it was a very fast run. It would have scored me a gold, bronze or silver medal. I'm not sure, but yeah, I verted. So unfortunately, this is the name of the game, guys. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes wrong. And in speed, I had everything to win, to get a gold medal. However, the wind conditions favored the other athletes and not so much me, which happens. And maybe next competition I will be favored and other people will not be favored. So this is the name of the game, guys. If you're thinking about competing, you need to understand that for our sport, it's not big enough where we're going to do a whole new round just because the wind changed a little bit for 2 or 3 people. No. It is what it is. Today we're unlucky, but tomorrow we might be a little bit more lucky. So we take the score, we go home with a world record. No gold medal this time, no problem. Next time we'll have a better performance and better luck. And the most important thing is we go home safely, because the speeds that we're starting to reach, guys, they are very, very fast. And if we do have a crash, even if it's not our fault, which can happen, we can hit a bird. The bird can break a line and then we crash. If we hit a bird on recovery arc and it breaks our A1, we're dead. We're going to die. So what we need to do now is we need to make sure we get into the comp, we do it safely, and we return home intact. That's the priority for every comp. And trust me, guys, I have had what I consider pretty quick progression in the competition world, not in downsizing. I downsized quite slowly and I did the jumps that I needed to do. I feel like I did it pretty properly. But in competition, I feel like I went from beginner to world champion relatively fast. I don't know anyone who started and then 4 years later was already world champion. However, I will tell you, I never pushed myself out of my comfort zone. Never, ever, 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 guys. Never. Never did I do a day where I was like, okay, today we're pushing it. No, quite the contrary. Every day I was like, man, maybe I'll wait one more day before I start doing distance with the mutant. Maybe I'll wait one more comp. Every comp, people will be like, are you doing distance with the mutant? I'm like, no, I'll wait one more. One more comp, I will wait. So trust me, guys, if you just keep being consistent, jump after jump, one jump at a time is what I always say to my students, to anyone, is one jump at a time. Consistent, slow progression, slowly dipping your feet in the water when it comes to downsizing or increasing wing loading, whatever it be. And eventually, I promise you guys, the results will come. I never thought like, how do I bring more power for speed? No, I never ever thought about this. I just started jumping, put on a smaller, started competing, and then put on weights. Once I had the weights on and I was comfortable with them, I got a smaller canopy. Then I got the mutant. Then I got a smaller canopy. Now I have the 57, which is even smaller. Next year, I'll have the 55, which is even smaller. So I'm always doing hundreds of jumps, competition jumps, 100% competition jumps, hundreds of them before I downsize. And I never think, okay, let me bring more power. How do I bring more power? No, I just naturally progress slowly, and I focus on being safe and arriving in the end of the day with my legs intact, with my body sane, having a good food and sane body during the competition and all throughout the year, but mostly during the competition. And I promise you guys, the results will come. When I started getting world record and top level results in speed and distance, I didn't even notice. It was like all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I'm arriving just as far as the pros, like the best guys in the world. So it was very, very, how do I say, it was very unexpected. It was all out of nowhere. So focus on your consistency, guys, and focus on being safe. The sport is already so complex that if you're able to safely land such a small parachute on the mutant, you will win. There's no chance. If you can safely and consistently do fly the course on a 57 with a mutant at 3.8, 3.6, you will win. There's no doubt. Because it's just a small, fast parachute, and if you can be consistent and safe with it, I promise you guys, you'll have the results you want. If that's what you guys are looking for, competing. Now, distance. Distance went amazing. It went amazing, guys. Trust me. I know you can look at the scores and see that I was at like 10th place in distance. I had a 0, but if you look at the 0, it was quite tight, and it was a mistake that I can fix it, no problem. Distance, we did it with a slight headwind, and I went relatively tight on the first jump because I had never. It was the first jump that I did in this drop zone with headwind for the distance gates, which are much different from the speed gates, and so I didn't carve nearly as much. And as you guys can see, if the speed course was set up aligned with the zone accuracy pit, which is how it's supposed to be, then my carving angle would be correct. And I kind of did my turn based on what I thought I needed from previous references from other drop zones. But this drop zone, because the speed course is crooked, you need more angle. So because I didn't enter the course with nearly enough angle, and I was very tight and I had a lot of downwards movement, what happens is your canopy is moving down. So let's say the canopy is actually slowing you down. And because you have, again, downwards movement, the canopy is slowing you down. It's not just lifting your weight. My exit weight is 96 kilos. The canopy is not lifting 96 kilos. Maybe it's lifting 200 kilos because there's the downwards movement. So when you touch the water, you're going to relieve some kilos of weight from the canopy. Let's say you're putting 200 kilos of pressure on the canopy. When you touch the water, you relieve 20 kilos because the water has the surface tension. When you touch it, the water doesn't just move away. It pushes back on you, and so it does relieve some pressure on the canopy. What's going to happen? The canopy is going to boost up because for a few moments, it's going to relieve those 5, 10, 20, I don't know how many kilos of weight, and it's going to boost you up. In this case, I boosted up. I tried to extend my legs as much as possible downwards to get the exit gate, but it wasn't enough. I missed the exit gate by, according to the judge, 3 inches, which it happens. Again, no expectations for this comp, and I still did a pretty decent run. It was the second longest run of that round, even though I didn't get a score because I verted. Then I knew what I had to do. I knew I just needed to change my approach angle and go a tiny little bit deeper. So I changed my approach angle for the touch carve, and as you can see on the first jump, I was going to the left of the corner of the pond. To the right of the corner of the pond. This time I'm going through the left. And instead of aiming to the center of the buoys, I aimed a little bit more to the right. Actually, I did aim to the center, but what happened is I had to sashay a little bit because I knew I was high. I was a little bit high, so I just sashayed a tiny little bit to make sure I got the gate. And I could have been lower. Again, when we're flying with the 57 doing the 1170, it's very hard to be, you need to be very consistent with the turn, because if you finish, the canopy is not going to dive down, it's going to recover, because there's so much speed that the canopy is just going to shoot forwards as fast as it possibly can. So in this case, I entered through the corner, that's the angle that I use, and I went to the center of the entry gates. So I go from the corner, a little bit left of the corner, to the center of the entry gates, and then I let myself fly to the outside exit, to the right side exit gate, because the closer you are to the exit gate, the easier it is to see if you actually got it or not. Once I make sure I have it, then I lift off, and for now, my lift off technique is really, really simple. I don't have anything fancy with it. I just pull on the rear risers, lean back a little bit, and control, and my priority is not to go far, it's to land as safely as possible. Guys, again, remember what I told you guys. All you need to focus on is to safely fly the parachute at these wing loadings, and I promise you, you'll be able to win. There is no question on my mind about it. I focused on having a good approach, touching the water safely, making sure I exit the course nice and smoothly without verting. And after that, all I focus on is lift off and having a soft touchdown as possible. As you can see, I don't lean forwards, I don't do anything fancy. I just grab the rears, fly the canopy slowly, and then go on toggles and focus not on going far, but on putting myself down gently and safely. And I have pretty gentle put downs. I don't feel like they're aggressive at all. And first jump I verted, but I was doing like 90 something. Second jump, I was the second longest distance. Kurt got me by a few inches or few feet, I don't know. And then third round, I combined all the things that I had learned. Again, guys, remember, I didn't do a single distance training jump. These 3 jumps I did in comp were my training jumps. The third round, I combined everything that I knew, and I went for distance. As you guys can see, I'm going the right side of the corner of the pond instead of the left side. And because I did this little mistake, it was my fault, my own fault. I went to the right side buoy just to have a little bit more margin. And as you can see, I enter at a 45-degree carve, making sure I don't touch the other buoy. Once I guarantee I have the exit gate, I can lift off, and I put myself down as gently as possible. And there you go. This was my first time in my life that I went 100 points in distance. I went further than anyone else in the comp, and knowing that Kurt and Cedric are both in the comp, which are 2 of my idols growing up, I am pretty happy with my results. We're having pretty consistent increases in distance this year. We started off with a Mutant in the 57, not doing so well. We moved on to setting some tremendous runs in South Africa, even though some of them were reverts. And we're finishing off the year with an 100. My last power round was 100 points. So I'm pretty happy. As you guys can see, there's clearly a increase in performance. Even though even though I verted, yes, and it wasn't my best ever score in distance, we're getting there, okay? I promise you guys, we're polishing each discipline one at a time. I'm going to focus on speed on the zone accuracy next year, and I'm going to maintain distance and maintain speed because I feel like they're pretty similar skills. And then I think next year we're going to try to do as best scores in distance as possible. I would love to have a world record in distance, a lot more than the speed world record, a lot more than the distance ever, than whatever. World champion in distance and world record in distance are the next goals for us. And again, I'm going to try to be much better in zone accuracy as well. And I will not go over zone accuracy in this video, but one of the reasons why I did so poorly in zone accuracy for the last 2 comps is I'm taking a very big canopy. And you guys will make fun of me, but it's because it has the logo. It has the Skydive Portugal logo. And I knew I was not going to do amazingly in zone accuracy. So I thought I might as well take the canopy with the logo for the pictures and the videos, and then next year I'll take the 65, which I was using the 65 during Italy and France, and I did really well in zone ac. So I'll take that one next year, and we'll definitely have better performance. But yeah, for now, guys, that's been it. I'm sorry I'm not going over zone accuracy and freestyle. Just get someone else to do it. It's pretty boring anyways. Thank you guys so much for the support. Without you guys' help, I wouldn't be able to conquer world records and world championships and whatnot. And hopefully I inspire the next swoopers. You guys watch my videos and fly the mutant safely. Please, if you're interested in getting a mutant, make sure to see my mutant series. It has a lot of information, especially with regards to the yaw on the mutant, which has killed someone recently. And I've talked about it before, how it was a problem, and now the problem is finally showing. So if you guys want to elucidate yourselves about this problem, go ahead and watch the video. It's something that requires canopy time. If you're interested in getting a mutant, or if you already have a mutant, what I want to say about the yaw problems and all of those G-locks from whatever, or rotational lock from too much input, something like that, in my opinion, humble opinion, is it's a lot of talking and not a lot of flying. So put your money where your mouth is, grab your cash, put it on the manifest, and go do high pulls with a mutant. Okay, close your computer, lock your phone, stop texting your friends about how the mutant has this problem, that problem, and how it's hard, blah, blah, blah. No, close your laptop, get off of Facebook groups, go and jump. Go do high pulls, go spend hours under the parachute, go spend hours on the mutant. It's something that I did, and I still want to do even more. I want to put the mutant through its paces. I want to take the mutant to the extreme. So, hopefully this helps. And if you have any questions or complimentary information, you can add them in the comment section down below. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Shit.
Fuck. Holy fuck. Fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, that could be unofficially a brand new world record.
Fuck.
Current world record with Bartholomew 1.747. Gonzalo just came through 1.69.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? No! What the fuck?
Superhero.
What the fuck? No!
Gonzalo,
What the fuck?
unofficial new world record.
No! No way! No, that's wrong!
He broke the world record.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Bartholomew came back and broke it again. Bartholomew holding that world record of 1.747.
Gonzalo!
But the hot news now, Gonzalo just put down.
This is amazing. Não é possível, tá errado, tá errado.
Tá certo, mantém.
Tá errado.
Tá certo. Vai comprar cerveja no final pra
Mas
gente.
vai ter cerveja.
Vai ter cerveja.
Thank you so much.
I think it's wrong. I hope too, but I think it's wrong.
Congratulations, my friend.